So while all of this chaos was going on with me just struggling to regulate my head, my emotions, and all the other things that were happening, both my kids tested positive for COVID. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Marina here, and as always, I'm so excited to be coming to you in another video. If it's your first time coming across my channel, hey, welcome. My name is Marina. I'm a Nigerian Canadian and I live in Saskatoon, Canada, and on my channel I share information to make settling into life in Canada seamless for newcomers and foreign trained professionals. So if this is content you think you might be interested in, please do well to smash the subscribe button below and turn on the notification so you know every time I bring new content. To my OGs, my returning subscribers, you guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much. Always such a pleasure to have you here. In today's video, guys, I just thought to come sit down, chit chat with you guys and give you guys some updates about what's been going on. Like 2022 has been off to a bit of a rocky start for me, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it and just share how it has been, how I'm feeling, and just talk to you guys. You guys have become like my virtual family, so today we're going to be talking about that. If you want to hear more about this, you know what to do. Definitely keep watching. You would have seen the community post that I put up a couple of weeks ago. It would have been about 2 weeks ago now, that my family got exposed to COVID. Yes, that happened, and I'm going to be sharing all of that with you guys. Anyway, before I get right into the story, I wanted to show you guys the newest addition to my glasses collection. If you've been here a while, you would have heard me talk about this brand before, and I've seen a couple of comments in my comment sections in some of the videos where you guys are like, where are your glasses from? Well, today I'm going to be talking about them again. The brand is called Zinf. It's called Zinf. If you're looking for chic, nice, classy frames on a budget, Zinf is your plug. And today I wanted to show you guys the new one that I just got. Ooh, look at that. Yes, there we go. This is like the newest member of my glasses collection. Let me show you guys what it looks like on me. Is it giving you principal vibes or boss lady vibes? I think it's more boss lady, Abby. You better say yes. I really like this because I have frames in different colors, different sizes, and in different shapes. This is like the first one in a while that I will have like this. This particular frame is called the Shrek Tortoise Glasses Rectangle. I'm going to be leaving a link to this particular frames in the description box, and a link to all the other ones that I've gotten from this brand in the description box as well. And because I got you covered, you can use the code ME to get 50% off the cost of frames and 20% off the cost of lenses. All of that information is going to be in the description box, so if you're interested, please do well to check it out and get one of these chic pieces for yourself. If you're interested in looking chic, classy, and like a boss lady on a budget, you want to check Zinf out, trust me. Okay, so check it out. All the details will be in the description box, and make sure to take advantage of that discount code. Okay, anyway, so now to our story, you guys. When I say 2022 started on a bit of a rocky note, it didn't actually start in 2022. So let me backtrack a bit and start the story from the actual beginning. Towards the end of 2021, I just started to feel a bit off in ways that was hard to explain at first. So normally at the end of every year, what I do is I do like an audit, like a personal audit of my year. I do everything from my career to my marriage to parenting. I ask questions. Like my husband and I have the conversation where I'm like, hey, how do you think I did this year? As your wife, what would you say differently? What do you want me to continue doing? What do you want me to stop doing? Just those questions to kind of guess and gauge how I'm doing. For work, of course, there's performance appraisals that we do at work. So that's a more structured way for me to get that information from work. Even with my kids, after I attended that parenting seminar with Praise for Way that I would have talked about, I'll link that somewhere on the screen for you guys to go check out if you haven't seen that video. After I finished that seminar, I started to ask my kids those questions, right? So at the end of the year, it would have been typical for me to do that again. Just do like a general audit of my money, of my career, of my marriage and parenting and things like that. At the end of 2021, I just found that I was struggling with doing that. I was struggling with coming to that point where I wanted to do that audit. It was almost like I was running away from what I knew I would find. You know, because 2021 was a bit of a dramatic year, really. I had a lot of highs and lows in 2021, and I knew that if I had sat down to want to do that audit, I would have had to confront a couple of things. So it just seemed like I was running away from it, but not because I was afraid per se. It was just like there was no zeal, there was no motivation to do anything. And it went on for a bit, like towards the end, maybe like the last week in 2021, I was very overwhelmed with that feeling. And it spilled into 2022, and I don't know, it was hard to explain. There were a couple of other personal issues going on that I feel could have contributed to that, but when it went on into 2022, first week, second week, I just knew that something was wrong and I needed to backtrack to find the source of what was going on. And I did. And you guys, sincerely, I would say I narrow it down to two things. The first one was fatigue. The last time I took a proper break from work was August last year, guys, when we went to Edmonton. And that trip was hardly ever rest for me. It was activities every day. It felt like work, just in a different setting, you know. So, and then as soon as we came back, before like 2 days, it was time to go back to work. So I didn't really feel rested after that trip. And that was the last time I took a proper break from work. I was tired, like physically exhausted, and I just kept going. It was like I was on low battery. My body was beeping, recharge. But Marina kept going as per the superwoman that I am. Not again, you know. I just kept going, and fatigue was a big one. The burnout was real. Like I got exhausted to the point where it was a struggle getting out of bed in the morning. So that was one thing I identified. The other thing I identified was like a sense of dissatisfaction. I was very dissatisfied with a number of things. With my career, I'm like, I should have advanced faster than this. I should be in a more senior role. I should be doing more. Just dissatisfaction. Now that in itself is not a bad thing, because sometimes when you get to the point where you get dissatisfied, it becomes like motivation for you to want to push yourself. It becomes motivation for you to want to get the next level and work towards it. But my own was not, the default was not motivation. It was almost like dissatisfaction that was now going to lead to bitterness and resentment somehow. And I had to check it. And thankfully, I've grown to the point where I am self-aware enough to be able to call myself out. I know when to stop myself and say, okay, you're taking that a little too far. And that's what happened. And at this point, I'm just going to stop and just say, if you have friends around you who you can actually sit down and talk to and be vulnerable with, and know that they're going to give you valuable advice, you are among all men most blessed. I am grateful for the people that I have around me, the circle of friends that I have, that I can sit down and say, you know what, this is how I'm feeling. And they don't judge me. They listen to me and let me say it and rant, and then just start asking me questions back. And with those questions they ask me, it's almost like my friends become a mirror to me to show me what I'm saying and say, babe, see the flaws in this thinking pattern, see the flaws. If you don't stop this is what's going to happen. And that's what happened with me. I had a couple of friends that I sat down and talked to and said, this is exactly how I'm feeling. And I got wholesome advice, guys. Wholesome. I couldn't be more grateful for that. So I was able to stop myself there and try to retrace my steps, and instead of bitterness and resentment, go back to gratitude, to say, yes, my career can be in a better place, but not all the people who were in school at the same time with me are where I am right now. So I found reasons to be grateful regardless of what was happening, regardless of all the things that I wanted to do. It still did not stop me from aspiring for the things I really wanted, but it just made me more grateful for where I am right now while I anticipate where I want to go, you know. As for the burnout, Marina is still not taking a break. The plan was that I was going to go on break in January. I didn't take a break during the Christmas holidays. I just thought half my team was going to be on holiday, so I needed the peace and quiet to take care of some things that were pending, so I'll go on break in January. But I underestimated how much work actually happens in my team in January. I changed jobs sometime last year, so this is the first time I'm doing January in this new role. I totally miscalculated that, but I'm taking a break this February and I'm going to be showing you guys all of that. So while all of this chaos was going on with me just struggling to regulate my head, my emotions, and all the other things that were happening, both my kids tested positive for COVID, you guys. Last week, you would have seen the video of my son's birthday. And looking back now, guys, did you guys notice that at the end of the video when Jeremy is my son if you're new here, Jeremy and I were opening the presents, did you guys notice that he was sniffing a lot? I'm looking back, it was when I was editing the video, I'm like, that should have been a pointer. But let me tell you why it wasn't a pointer. That day, Jeremy went to the pool. The day before was his birthday. A friend of his who came for his birthday had his own birthday party the next day. So he went for that friend's birthday party and he was in a pool. So it was not unusual to me at the time that he was sniffing. Like, he has been inside water. I probably inhaled something, right? That's why I thought he was sniffing. But looking back now, in fact, it was that day he tested positive. How did he test positive? We were doing routine checks. So there had been a couple of positive cases in their school. We get the notifications every day to say this person has been identified, a positive case has been identified. In fact, Daphne was close contact at some point. So I kept testing them every day. When we were going to have his birthday, that week, it just seemed like there was COVID outbreak everywhere in Saskatoon. Everywhere I looked, people were catching it. I'm like, is it responsible for me to want to go ahead with this? All the children who came were from households where people had been vaccinated. So that was my consolation. I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, we're still within gathering limits, and these kids are predominantly either vaccinated or from homes where both parents are like double vaccinated and even boosted, like my husband and I. So that's why we went ahead. So clearly he had been exposed a couple of days before that party at school, I think, and it took a while for it to show up, because it could not have caught COVID Saturday and it to show up on Sunday. It doesn't work like that. It takes a while before it shows up on the rapid test. So I was doing the routine check to send them back to school the next week when, boom, in my face I saw 2 lines. Like, that's the first time since 2020 I was seeing double lines on a COVID test. I'm like, what? Somebody's positive, somebody's positive. My friends were in the house and I was saying, like, somebody has tested positive, somebody has tested. It was so shocking. It was very shocking for me. He didn't have symptoms other than the sniffing. It was how disruptive it was going to be, because at that time, I found out on a Sunday, their vaccination appointment was the next Thursday. And if you're unvaccinated, the isolation time is 10 days. Which means that my son was going to be out of school for 10 days. Not just my son, because my daughter would now have been a positive, close contact to a positive case within a household, which means she would have been required to isolate as well. So both of them had to be out of school for 10 days. The next day, the next morning, well, that evening I had to tell him that he can't go to school, and he just started crying. Like, how is he not going to school for 10 days? He's not going to learn. He's not going to see his friends. He was just crying, really emotional. I was like, he scared him that he had COVID. So we just had to manage it for him. The next day in the morning, I called the Saskatchewan Health Authority just to let them know and find out what next steps are. You guys, I called at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was caller number 438. Hey, that was my number on the queue on the phone. I now had to pick the call me back option, because I'm not about to stay on the phone for 2 hours waiting for somebody to get to me. So I called the school, told the teacher, just told them and said, hey, this was happening. And you guys, big ups to my kids' school. The teachers were so responsive. The principal was awesome. He just said, if you need anything, let us know. If you need us to come drop groceries, if you need us to bring their books so that they can do schoolwork at home, I'm going to come and drop it myself. Because I mean, all of us were now required to isolate. And the hardest part is you cannot go out. So if you don't have the things that you need, somebody has to bring it to you. And the school, my children's teachers were offering to bring things to our house. Like, guys, I felt really supported. I'm not even going to lie. I felt like I had so much support. The school told me what to do. They put together like packages and books for them to be doing the same schoolwork at home so that they don't miss out on too much. So that's how we were able to survive that. Daphne was negative, Jeremy was positive. Eventually, the health authority called me back and just told me what we had to do. If Daphne continued to test negative, she was going to isolate for 10 more days after Jeremy's isolation was over. I'm like, at this point, is she not just better off positive? I said it in my mind, I said it out loud. True to my word, guys. The next day, my daughter started sniffing, and the next thing, her eyes were like, you know when somebody is sick, how they look? From their eyes, you can tell. Daphne started looking that way. And then next thing, she passed me and said, Mom, can I have a hug? When she hugged me, her body was hot. I now did the test. And the young lady was very, very positive. You see the speed that the 2 lines used to come out. She was one that had the harder symptoms. She had the headaches, she had the fever. In fact, at night, sometimes her nose was so stuffy, she could not breathe properly. For a couple of days, that girl was sleeping in my room on my chest. That's how she could sleep. It was hard, guys. Every morning I woke up tired and exhausted. By the third day, yours truly started sniffing. I started sniffing, I started coughing, I had a headache, and the hardest symptom I think I had was the fatigue. You guys, that one, you are tired for no reason, you can't explain, you sleep for hours, still wake up exhausted. Like, that's how it was for me. And school was going on at this time. Work was still going on. Although when I did mention it at work that that's what was going on, I got time off. Like my manager, there was one particular day, you guys, that day I barely slept because Daphne was on my chest for like 4 hours. I couldn't sleep. I stayed awake just to monitor her breathing. In the morning, she slept. So by maybe like 5-ish, she was able to sleep by herself, like deep sleep. I tried to catch a nap. I couldn't. I was still awake, just checking that she was breathing well. By 7, I couldn't keep my eyes open. So I sent my manager a message and said, I just need 2 hours. I really just need to take a nap. And then I'll log in later. And she was like, nope, you're not logging in today. Take the day off. Just so grateful for bosses that support, managers that understand when people need time to step back. My team was so supportive. Like, people were taking on my work so I could get time off. So I got time off. By the next day after I started showing symptoms, Mr. Itek started showing symptoms as well. So basically, at some point in all of that, all of us had symptoms. My husband and I kept testing negative. We're both double vaccinated and boosted. We didn't test positive, but we had all the symptoms. Fred had the headaches, the stuffy nose, the fatigue as well, and then same with me. And the only person who didn't have symptoms in this house was the first person who tested positive. Jeremy had 0 symptoms because that day after the sniffing, that was it. He did not have the headache. He did not as much as break into a fever, not once. The guy was just bawling, while the rest of us, had the harder symptom. Eventually, we got their stuff from school, so they were able to follow the school work that was going on. They didn't miss out too much while they were at home. But that period was hard. Normally, I don't go out though, but you know, when it's now you're not going out because you have been told to stay at home, it became very frustrating getting cooked inside this house, not being able to go anywhere. Our friends were bringing us stuff, my friends were bringing us groceries. My cousin, you guys, if you don't have family in this Canada, you're missing out. My cousin went grocery shopping, full grocery shopping for us, cooked and brought one sweet vegetable and sweet stew like this. And so I didn't have to cook while I was at home. We had food. We had friends from church who cooked food like hot soup and brought for, like, you guys. Even the messages everywhere. When I put it on my community tab that my kids who had been exposed to COVID, like, you guys, the prayers, the messages just kept pouring in. The people who had my numbers were calling me, like, guys, we felt really loved, really supported. I just want to come say thank you to you guys. We're doing a lot better now. The kids are back to school. I am back to almost 100%. We're doing okay. And there are a couple of things I'm just going to be changing in my life this year. Like, I'm going back to that place where I'm going to be focusing a lot on the things that I really like, and I'm going to go back to them. Last year, one major mistake I made is I paid a lot of attention to things that didn't really recharge me. Like, I said yes when I was supposed to say no to a couple of things, and I'm praying that I can change that this year. I'm prioritizing myself. For January, I started a fitness routine. I got into a boot camp where I'm working out like 4 to 5 times a week. I'm changing a couple of things with my diet. I ordered a treadmill. You guys are going to see it when it comes. I'm going to be sharing that journey with you guys. But for me, I'm just at the point where I really need to prioritize recharging myself, because like my friend would say, you cannot pour from an empty cup. I have to be whole before I can be a proper mom. I have to be whole before I can be a proper wife or a proper employee. So I'm going back to the basics this year. As for my channel, guys, I should have done this earlier, but I'm still going to keep creating content that I love, that I enjoy, that you guys enjoy. And to be sure that I'm giving you guys what you really enjoy, I'd like you guys to share with me what you would like to see. Like, what kind of content do you want to see? For one, I know that I'm going to go back to like the career series that I started, like the different pathways for different professions, how to get certified and get back into your profession in Canada. I'm going to be going back to that. I have somebody lined up who's going to talk about medicine, getting into medicine. Somebody has asked me, and thankfully I have somebody who's willing to share that. So there's medicine lined up. There's somebody for IT lined up. I have one person lined up for business analysis, getting into tech through business analysis. That's going to be coming your way soon. You guys, If you have other ideas or there are other professions that you would like me to look into and bring their certification pathways in Canada to you, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you have other video ideas, maybe something you want me to stop doing or something you want me to start doing, something you want me to do more of, please leave those suggestions in the comment section. For those of you who have ideas like go skydiving or just go and jump off a cliff in the name of action on YouTube, please, let me beg you. I have 2 children. Please, I want to stay alive for my children, so I'm not going to be jumping out of a plane. I'm not going to be jumping off a cliff just because I'm trying to create drama. That's not going to work. It's not that kind of channel, please. Anyway, I just thought I should come share this update with you guys and do this chit chat with you, and just to give you an update of what has been going on and what you can look forward to in 2022 for my channel. So guys, please leave those suggestions below. I want to hear from you guys and just be sure that we're on the same page. I want to be sure that we're aligned, like what I'm thinking about is what you guys actually need, because sometimes you might think something is great but that's not what the subscribers want. So please do well to leave your suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll be reading them. Trust me, I'm going to see all of it. Okay, anyway, that's been my update. Just thought I could come talk to you guys, be vulnerable and not be afraid. Really, I'm no longer afraid to just be myself. Well, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I will be in the comment section. I'm looking forward to hearing all your fantastic suggestions. Until I come your way in my next video, don't forget to check out my description box to get all the details about Zilf, your eyeglass brand. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed. And until I come your way in another video, it's your girl Marina saying thank you and have an awesome day. Bye guys.